In this video, I want to highlight the concept of the idea of how you think is actually how you look. I'm going to highlight 3 things that changed within my mentality and my mindset and how I think differently now versus how I used to. Because now that I'm able to reflect, I can look back and see what was actually limiting me in terms of the way that I actually thought about things. And you're like, oh, Megan, nah, it's about training, nutrition, all that shit. It is about that stuff. It is. And I'm big on the analytical side, the scientific side, and actually needing to know your shit to get good results. But none of that matters if you don't look at yourself, the fundamentals of who you currently are, because I promise you, not all of your problems are, oh, I'm not eating the right things. I just don't know what to do in the gym. Yes, there's probably knowledge that you need, but there's also so many things that you're not even aware of that are slowing you down, that are inherent to you. Pump check, even though I don't have a pump right now, actually. I have absolutely no pump. If you're wondering why I'm wearing this, it's because I'm going to the rodeo. I'm gonna see me. As always, don't forget to do hard shit and be confident, have the courage to be uncomfortable, but most importantly, don't give a shit what anybody says about you, because if they're criticizing you, I promise you, you probably don't want their advice anyways. Honestly, they're probably behind you. We're going to go ahead and get to the video now, where I'm going to identify 3 key things that changed in my mindset that was the reason I got the results that I did, and I have the life and the physique and the body that I do now. So let's go ahead and discuss the 3 changes that I noticed in my mentality, which is ultimately the reason as to why I got the results that I did, so that if you are thinking about things a certain way, you can shift it and think about it the way that I do now, so that you don't have to be wondering why you're not progressing. A lot of the times we look the way that we do because of how we think. How you think is actually how you look. Yes, what you eat, what you do, your activity levels, that stuff does matter, but who you are as a person is what's going to be reflected in your physique. If you can't handle your emotions, if you can't think about life in the way you would need to be successful, that's going to be reflected in your lifestyle, in your body, all those kinds of things. How you think will then translate into your life, your reality, and the body that you walk around in. I'm going to take this off though because it's hot and I'm sweating, but the AC's on inside, although it's hot outside, so I've been like on and off with this jacket all day. Anyways, I want to talk about this because something that I used to struggle with was wondering why I couldn't get there. I was like, what is it that what is wrong? Why am I not getting where I want to be? Why am I struggling so hard? Why am I experiencing all this frustration? Why do I feel so tired and frustrated? And a lot of it had to do with my perspective, my outlook, the way that I viewed certain situations, and that kind of took a toll on me mentally, which then translated into physical exhaustion because I worried a lot. I didn't really know how to handle things. And it was just a lot of struggling. All right. A lot of you don't really get assurance when you start this journey that, yeah, you're going to lose body fat. You're going to build muscle. You're going to have abs. You're going to get that look that you're going for. No one is going to assure you that that's going to happen. And it was really weighing on me at the time because I was always constantly wondering, am I doing the right thing? And there was just so much stuff weighing on me mentally because of my perspective on things that it ended up making it hard for me to adhere to the plan to get me where I wanted to be. Now, getting wherever you want to be is simply just how you're going to get there, right? It takes strategy, it takes planning, but I didn't understand at the time, so it led to a lot of mental chaos. So I'm going to get into a couple things. I'm so sorry. My wisdom teeth are coming in and it's making it hard for me to talk, basically, in the simplest way possible. But I have some notes down here about what I'm going to tell you guys that really shifted for me mentally, so I can make sure that you understand that if you just shift your perspective, you'll experience a lot less suffering and frustration, and it'll be easier for you to stay on track and follow the plan because you'll know how to navigate that frustration and all those negative emotions that you're probably going to experience because you don't have that assurance of, I am going to get there. You will constantly be thinking, am I doing the right thing? So I'm hoping that these wisdom teeth guys, I'm so sorry, but I'm hoping that the 3 things that I show you in this video about how I now view things versus how I used to can help give you a sense of comfort when things are hard, because this is going to be hard regardless. But if you just reframe the way that you think, it can help you keep going in times where you're feeling like you're at rock bottom or you're feeling like you don't know what to do. So number 1, I stopped convincing myself that things were more important. Now that is so underrated. Nobody realizes that that's something that could be slowing them down. Fitness and health and taking care of going to the gym and eating healthy 80% of the time. I'm not saying that you have to track everything down to the last gram and that you have to be, the world's healthiest person ever, but that's something that's almost equitable to, in my opinion, like brushing your teeth, right? It's not a luxury that you can say, oh, I don't have enough time. I need to be at work at a certain time. I have all these other responsibilities. This is something that is going to directly affect your life either now or later. The whole I don't have enough time scheme isn't a valid excuse, because there's no valid excuse as to why you shouldn't brush your teeth. This is, at the end of the day, boils down to your health. Yes, it's going to play on your confidence. When you look better, you appear better, you show yourself that you show up, and then you get the body that you're looking for. Yeah, you're going to be more confident, but you're also going to be healthier. So anyone who tries to fight me or argue with me as to why they can't, or why there's just whatever, like, you can build a plan that fits around your busy schedule, but simply saying that you can't because of XYZ excuse, you're the only one suffering, right? You're just telling yourself that you can't do something that is going to ultimately make you more confident and also make you healthier and probably yield you, not probably, going to give you a better quality of life. So it's not about, I don't have enough time. It's making the time for it, because you'd make the time to shower, you'd make the time to brush your teeth, you'd make the time to eat when you're hungry. This is one of those non-negotiables. And I'm a big believer in that. So I used to think it was all about being efficient. Like, other things are more important. I need to focus on studying, my career, all these kinds of things. But then I shifted from putting those first and thinking that fitness was like a luxury to, this is a part of my health and wellness. When I want to be successful in my career, in any other goal that I'm trying to achieve, this is a part of it. I can't let this go. Because I've also found that when I do let that go and I skip that workout and I don't get my steps in and I don't prioritize doing those physical things when I have a lot of things to do and it makes sense to just take away from those expendable activities, those are actually the things that you should lean into the most. They help you handle stress. They help you get through those tough times. The last thing you want to do is start letting go of your health and your wellness and your fitness when the going gets tough, when life gets busy, because life will never slow down so you can get in shape. And if you start to prioritize your job or whatever else you have to do over your health and wellness and start to let yourself go, you'll start to lose that confidence. You'll start to fall into a rut and then get stressed and probably a little bit depressed, a little bit sad, and wonder why you're feeling this way and why you can't sleep at night and why you're always tired. And it's because you're letting go of what is most important, of leaning into that training, leaning into fueling your body so that you feel good, that you think good, and so that you're healthy. Because although it may seem like a good idea to take away from what seems to be a luxury when you are busy, that honestly should always be the priority, especially when you're going through a tough time or when you're experiencing a lot of stress at work or really anywhere else. The next thing that I shifted in terms of my perspective was I understood that where I am now, especially if this current state, I was complaining about it, right? I didn't like my body composition. I was insecure. I, had no belief in myself. And I was really, really frustrated and felt stuck. And that takes a lot of mental capacity. And also, every single thing that I did at the time, every daily habit that I had, every decision that I made was giving me those results that I was currently complaining about and felt stuck in. So everything that I was doing was leading me there. Every little daily habit that you have, or behavioral pattern, or the way that you live your life, if you were to make it into an equation, you would add all those things up, it would equal the reality that you currently live in, which should give you both a sense of relief and also maybe a wake-up call, right? So you know that if you take that equation and just replace those habits in there, on the other side of the equal sign, you're going to get a different reality. So in order to change one side, you'll have to change the other. But you'll have the wake-up call in terms of, okay, what are these behavioral patterns that I have that's giving me this negative reality? Because if you don't like your current body composition, you have a lot of excess body fat, you're not confident, you're insecure, you don't have the job that you want, you don't like your life, you hate your relationship, whatever it may be, there are things that you do, who you are, all those things that are giving you that result. It doesn't just happen. You are causing it. And so when you start to understand that you're in control of all those things, even if it's not your responsibility or not, but when you understand that you can manipulate one side of the equation to get a different result on the other, personally, I felt a little sense of relief with that. I was like, okay, I just need to change something to get a different result. Because it's not always easy to pinpoint the correct thing to do, but it is easy to pinpoint the things that you know you're doing that are giving you a result that you don't like. So shifting that helped kind of mitigate my frustration a little bit, because I knew that all I had to do was make changes. Were the changes easy? No. Was any of this easy? Not really, but I'm hoping that these mentality shifts that I can make you aware of now will comfort you and give you a little bit more energy and save you from unnecessary burnout and maybe speed up the process for you a little bit. So when you understand that where you are currently, whether it be how your body looks, your current lifestyle, everything in between. If you don't like it, well, you can look at everything that you do and just know that if you add all those things together, it's giving you your current reality. Even if the things that are giving you your current reality aren't in your control, if it's in the way, or if you're unhappy, or if you don't like your lifestyle, you better get control of them. Even if it's not your fault or not your responsibility, just take responsibility for it. Just be like, okay, yes, this is not my problem, but it is in my way. And I used to be like, oh, that's not my problem. This is my problem. I shouldn't have to do this. Very victim mentality. If it's in your way, figure it out. Even if it's not your fucking problem or whatever, if it's out of your control, figure out a way to make it in your control so it's not in the way of where you want to be. And that's going to kind of lead me into the last bullet point that I have here in my notepad. My notepad is so crazy. Like, I'm trying to decipher what I wrote because I think too fast compared to the speed at which I can write with a felt marker. So there's that. That's going to lead me into the last point, the most important point, in my opinion, your brain. It can either work for you or against you. Now, what working against you looks like, and I'm going to say this from previous experience of when I felt stuck and I felt like I couldn't break out of that cycle of binge eating, being insecure, never being able to look in the mirror, always having to wear baggy clothes, yet being so mentally exhausted from that cycle that I didn't have the energy to get out of it. I used to let it run me. It used to work against me, and it was in the form of being in a constant state of distraction. And you may not know what I'm talking about, but it's like you can't sit. So you're scrolling, you're working, you're always with your friends, you have to always be listening to music, you have to always be watching TV. In a constant state of distraction because you don't want to face your thoughts, you don't want to face feeling negative things, you don't want to feel uncomfortable, you don't want to face the stress that has been weighing on you subconsciously, so your brain works so hard to stay comfortable by distracting yourself constantly and always making plans, watching YouTube, always having a distraction in front of you. And we live in a world where it's so easy to be distracted. It is so easy to go and forget about everything for a good hour at the movies. I know for a fact that there have been times where I would get on TikTok and just lose a whole night because I was just scrolling. And I didn't realize at the time, but the ability to just sit and think not only forces you to face whatever it is that you're avoiding, but also almost forces your mind to tackle it. And once it tackles the negative emotions that you've experienced and that you're not processing, like things that happen, like negative things that maybe hurt you, breakups, sad things that happen, things that make you feel things, when you are always running from it, you can't utilize those things that make you feel discomfort to make you stronger. If you can't process it, you can't let it make you grow. And hard shit, uncomfortable shit, things that people tend to run from is exactly what you need to face and sort in order to become better, in order to reach that level you're trying to get to. Because who you are now has what it is that you're currently complaining about, whether it be like excess body fat, whatever you don't like. In order to grow and break through and get better and become the person that has what it is that you want, you have to let those things that majority of society will run from out. You have to allow yourself to feel them, stop running, stop needing to doom scroll, let your brain think. The amount of people that I know that cannot sit, and I used to be one of them, they can't sit, they can't be bored, they just constantly have to be entertained or stimulated. Let your brain think and process the things that happen to you, both good and bad, so that you can grow as a person, so that you can learn from it, and so you can get better at handling discomfort, because the more you can handle discomfort, the further you're gonna go in this journey. And so many people give up the moment things get comfortable because they're so used to being in that constant state of distraction that they don't know how to feel discomfort. And that was me. From to the core, that was me. I didn't want to be uncomfortable, period. And so I spent my life chasing comfort. As soon as I realized that what I wanted and what was going to fulfill me and what was going to mean something to me and what was going to overall improve my confidence was chasing those things that made me uncomfortable. Because the more discomfort you can experience and be okay, the further you can go. And I didn't understand that until further along in the journey. And had I known these three things at the beginning, it would have just given me a sense of comfort when I felt like I was at rock bottom, when life beat the dog shit out of me, when I didn't know what to do, and when I felt this immense sense of frustration that I just wanted to give up. And all these things that I was feeling because I didn't understand these three concepts, or I didn't have these three perspectives, took a toll on me mentally and made me experience a lot of mental chaos, which then translated into physical exhaustion or physical fatigue. And then when I experienced those physical issues or when I felt abnormally tired because I didn't have the mental fortitude or I didn't understand these principles to help me improve my mental fortitude, then I started to struggle with adhering to my nutrition plan and started binging. Then I struggled with adhering to my training plan and started missing days or started training inefficiently because I was so tired. So yes, your training plan, your nutrition plan, everything else when it comes to living an optimal lifestyle is important, but how you think, your perspective will directly translate into how you look because it will affect your adherence to those plans that you have. So the psychology of building your dream physique paired with your physiology and your behavioral patterns, all of those things that come together work in synergy to yield you the body that you have. When you get all those in check and you work on showing yourself that you can have that level of control, that level of mental fortitude, it will then be translated into your physique. And not only will you be confident because of all that mental fortitude that you've built and everything that you've kind of showed yourself that you can handle, but also because you'll look better. 9 times out of 10, when you look better, you feel better, you perform better, you're more likely to start conversations, which is going to lead to more opportunities being open for you. And all of this will contribute to you having a better quality of life, period. So those are the 3 things that I was able to identify that changed about the way that I thought about life, the world, my circumstances, that were able to take me where I wanted to be, helped give me a sense of comfort when the going got rough. These pillars of your mind or shifts that you can make in your perspective will give you that sense of comfort that you need when you're wondering how it's all going to work out, if you're ever going to get there, if you're ever going to make that progress, if you truly are capable of being the person that you want to be. It's not a matter of if you can, it's just a matter of when. Because instead of thinking, oh, I can never be that person, I used to think that. I was like, oh, like, I'm just not that. I'm just not this. They're only that way because they're them. If you want to get from point A to point B, it just takes a goal, strategy, and patience. That's literally it. It's not a matter of if you can be that person. It's a matter of when. And if you just shift the way that you think a little bit, it'll give you the ability to experience more frustration, more pain, more hardship, and the more of that you can experience, and not just internalize, but experience and allow to make you better and grow because you're okay with feeling discomfort, the further you'll be able to go in any journey. But this can also be applied to your physique. And when you are transforming your physique, getting from point A to point B, you will come out more confident, both because of the mental transformation, but also you will just look better. And also, I hate to say it, but that is just how the world works. When you look better, when you hold yourself to a higher standard and you're more confident, you get more out of life and people respect you more. But also, you have nothing to lose. There is absolutely nothing on the line. What do you risk with doing this journey of transforming your physique, coming out healthier, looking better, feeling more confident in yourself? There's absolutely no downside except for the fact that you will essentially have to conquer yourself. Anyways, guys, thank you all so much for listening to me today. I hope that these mindset shifts can help you through tough times on this journey, because no matter how simple I make it for you, it will be hard regardless. I hope this can encourage you and light a fire under your ass to get started. I will link the channel button or the subscription button to my channel. I am so sorry. And the most recent video that I posted over here, if you want to work with me one-to-one to help support you in this journey and also build out your whole strategy for you, I will leave the application of that in the description of this video. Thank you all so much for watching. Remember to do hard shit, be confident, have the courage to be uncomfortable, and how much I freaking love you guys. Thank y'all so much. Again, I'm linking everything right over here, and I will see y'all in the next video.